Uh, all right, gentlemen, as scheduled, we are popping up on live. We are here to talk about NASCAR, everything NASCAR. We're going to talk about the Coca-Cola 600. That was last week. We're also going to talk about F1. A little bit of F1 because Kyle Larson decided to try to pull a double, and he was late for both of them. The rain made him late for the first one, and he came in and late on the second one. Wait, hold on. Did he even get the run? He didn't
He
get the
didn't
run.
get to go to the second one.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I didn't think so. It's a rain shortened race, so Kyle Larson got to the track. As soon as he got to as soon as he saw the helicopter coming down, they called the race. They tried to get that golden boy in that chair, but it actually started raining after a while, so he didn't get the race. But all in all, I mean that's a hard thing to do. I think that F1 was delayed for like 4 hours or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was delayed a long time. So I mean, he came in sixth, right?
Been F1?
He
Yeah, in
started
F1.
he started D, let me first of all do this. I hate to interrupt. He started he started fifth and he ultimately finished 18th in that race. And just to be clear,
Oh,
because I
that's
know
right.
someone will watch this later. They don't know the
Yeah,
difference between F1 and IndyCar. What he was
yeah,
competing in was the IndyCar.
IndyCar.
F1
Yeah,
was
he was in
like
IndyCar.
yeah, what was in that early that morning that Monaco Grand Prix. Yeah, but he started 18th and he ended up finishing oh, I'm sorry, he started I believe fifth or sixth and he ended up finishing 18th.
Yeah, he had a bad pit stop. That's what happened. He got thrown to the back, and he started making those spots, but that's a long way to go, especially in those cars. So I guess he did the best he could. That's what happens when you're a rookie. You know, you kind of learn things on the track because he doesn't have a lot of track time. So getting in and out of the pits is one of the hardest things you can do. Is slowing that car down to pit speed and actually getting it in there and getting it out. But he did that. Came in this position, got on the chopper, got on the jet, got back on the chopper, came back to Coca-Cola 600, and the race was over. Here's my thing. I was talking to somebody when that was happening. Um, I mean, Algier ran a pretty good race, right? Before they stopped it. And before he was about to get in the car, I mean, he actually got in the car and tried to get the seat right before they called the race. But I'm thinking to myself, why don't you just let dude run the rest of the race? I mean, he doesn't get any points for the race, right? Because he didn't start the race. And they
You talking
also
about all
said,
guy?
no, I'm talking about Larson.
Larson.
Larson didn't get any points for the race because Algiers, what is it, Algiers or Algier? Algar?
Allgaier.
All, all, all guy. Yeah, yeah, you're right.
Algar.
Yeah.
Whoever starts the race is who's credited with the points and the finish, points and the finishing position. So if Larson would have gotten in it and won the race, technically it would have counted as a win for all Geyer,
Right.
wherever he finished at. So right, so Larson, no, he couldn't have gotten any points for it.
That's what I'm saying. I was thinking to myself, why don't you just let dude finish the race? I mean, because it's not like he's doing a bad job. It's not like him getting in the car is going to do anything for the race, do anything for his team. Let the dude finish off the race. I don't see why he even tried to do that. I mean, I would have understood if he came back at the beginning of the race, if Indy started off at the time it was supposed to start, and he got back to Charlotte at a time where they could start the race. I understand that you do a double, that's a lot of laps you're turning, but you're doing that for a reason. But I mean, once it was in the last stage, man. I mean, just let dude run it out. There's no reason to jump in the car, especially since he was doing a good job as it is. That's just my thoughts. I would have thought better of it. I would have got to the track and said, what position is in? He's doing all right, then let him just finish the race. Fuck it. That would have been my thing. Y'all, what y'all think about
I,
that? Y'all think he should have went ahead and just kept trying to drive?
I
I
mean,
I think it was more Deacon about and him trying to do that as an attraction. I think they've sold that and build that up for weeks. And oh, he's gonna do the double. He's got to do that. And they know folks done bought tickets hoping to see him show up and drive. And I figured they figure, well, yeah, we gotta yank you out the seat now. It's kind of like from what I understand. I'm in a history lesson back in '07 when he just recently retired. Almirola was in the car and they yanked him out to put Hamlin in the car and Hamlin ultimately won the race, but it was credited to Almirola. From what I understand, they had something going on with Hamlin, and that the sponsors and all that type of people pretty much told them, "Hey, y'all get him in the car right now. That's our guy. We want him in the car right now." So I'm sure it was a thing where some moolah was involved, one way or the other. They figured it was a business decision. Hey, we know you're doing good. We know you're doing great, but hey, we got to get Buddy in this car right now as best we can. I bet if I had to call it, it was something just a business decision type deal.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Well, what do y'all think? Trey, you on the mute.
I was on mute because I'm sitting there listening to y'all. Y'all didn't want to hear me cursing at y'all. Y'all just gonna pretend that Indy 500 wasn't exciting.
Yeah,
Y'all gonna
I
pretend.
thought it was
Y'all
good
just-
personally.
It was great. It was great. Cars flying around the track. New
A lot
guard.
of accidents.
I love those things. Those nice. But the idea of New Garden two-peating, man, and that's the first time it's ever happened since back in the day, 2000s, whatever, from what I understand. Because I'm learning even that, just racing, period. But I did enjoy it. The speed was different, man. It was almost like slot. I don't know if you guys ever grew up playing with your TCR track. When back in the day, that was our video game, which was the old racing tracks. That's right. We're that old. There were racing tracks that you put
Darius,
together.
you remember that, Darius? Darius, you remember that?
Darius don't remember that.
Nah.
You're a little young for that.
Remember that,
Darius
Darius?
don't remember that. His cars
don't.
were Matchbox or Hot Wheels. They weren't those racing cars because the kids nowadays, they put them tracks together with electrocute they behind. But
Man, look, especially when the tracks was off a little bit.
Hey, you be smoking.
Man.
That electric smoke. What's that? But man, it was that those cars was moving, man. And what's his name? New Garden? Is that his name? Repeated. And it was funny because he drafted behind dude, just like in NASCAR.
That was good,
right?
pass.
And soon as he hit that turn, that man went out and he had that second gear. And I don't know, because when y'all taught me this, with NASCAR, they have what they call restrictive races, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all of that. So you got to just kind of, tough it out. It's the grind and the grit. But his car was like that. He said, sorry, champ, woo, and was gone. I mean, zoom. And I enjoyed seeing that. It was an exciting race, man. Man, two-peated and drank the milk, and all of that. And I'm looking forward to him trying to do a three-peat now that I'm watching that.
Yeah, it was like a couple laps before that. The dude did that to him.
Right.
He did the same move,
They all kind of line up behind each other, and all of a sudden it's like there's a section of the track. They was like, "Yo, I'm out. I'm gone." Yeah. And if your car was like that, you was good. And if not, you went up into the wall.
Yeah,
they were hitting the walls like bow. I was like, "Oh, you can't do it." There was an accident first lap. They didn't even complete the lap. Dudes in the back was trying to do something special. And he went up against to the wall, man. That's got to be all that money, all that training, all that pole position racing for you to get out there in the first half a lap race. That's what are your sponsors saying? I don't know what car he was driving, but I know I'd be like, "Hey, man, that's the last time."
That's like the All-Star race. That's like the All-Star race when Bush put Stenhouse into the wall. First lap.
Oh yeah.
Game over. Although there was no fight at the end of that race.
No fight Formula Run. My man BJ said they don't be fighting, but they be crashing.
Hey Deacon, can they hear each other talk to the pit crews and stuff?
Can who hear?
Other races, because I was watching the NASCAR and the driver was talking about, "I'm gonna whoop your ass after the driver." To my friends, people talking about, "I'm gonna fight the dude." I'm like, can a dude hear him say that?
I don't even know, man. I don't think the drivers can hear other drivers, but I think that
he's talking to the pit crew people.
Yeah, the pit crew can hear other pit crew drivers. They can tune into their frequency. I think. Well, the drivers can't do it.
Right, Deacon. I was gonna say back in the day, they stopped this. But back in the day, teammates could talk to each other, but I think they done been since cut that out. Like if you on Joe Gibbs Racing, you used to could talk to another Joe Gibbs Racing driver. But what they can do is they can monitor other teams' channels, and they can have someone say, well, shoot, Bubba was talking about, hey, they might pit 15 laps, or a doggone Gibbs was talking about, hey, he gonna pit in 10 laps, 15 laps. They can monitor other teams' channels and see what they're talking about. That's why some teams come up with code words a lot of times.
Yeah.
So if kind of like how they do in other sports, I guess football, they'll call like if they don't want a team to know, hey, we finna put on 4 tires, we finna pit in 10 laps, they may call something like turtleneck sweater and turtleneck sweater, which they be done talked about their drive and crew chief and know what that means. But another team monitoring, secret listening into their channel won't know what that means because that's code between them because they know other people are listening. If
Yeah.
that makes
Right.
makes sense.
The reason why I said that, man, is because dude was talking to his pit, and his pit told him to go ahead and put him to the wall. And he said, "Nah, I'm gonna whip his ass." And then the dude said something, "I'm gonna whip his ass after the race or something." And I'm like, "Why are they talking like this? Can the dude hear him?"
Can't hear.
What I'm saying?
Yeah, he can't. The other driver can't hear.
I was about to say, I'm like, man, sure.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah,
He was definitely talking to his
wall.
pit crew.
He was talking to the dude, and his pit was like, put him to the wall next time you do that, blah, blah, blah. I was like, dang, and it was on TV. I was like, it was on TV.
Rubbing is racing.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't be caring. Don't be caring what they be saying sometimes.
Yeah. Well, the rain came. I guess it came all the way from the Indy race to Charlotte and shortened the race. So Christopher Bell, Joe Gibbs Racing won Coca-Cola 600.
How do y'all feel about the rain being called though? It was like over 150 laps left.
Well, they wasn't going to push it to another day. It was already holiday.
Yeah, I was. I'm sorry, D.
Well, you good.
I was gonna say I saw a lot of people tweaking about it, like online, and kind of upset about it. I'm like, y'all must be new fans of sport because NASCAR, and that's been a rule for years and years, going back to the 80s and 70s, where if the races gets past halfway, if it's a 100 lap race, they get to lap 51. If it's a 300 lap race, they get to lap 150, 151. From that moment on, if they see fit, they can call it. And when it was called, I was disappointed, but I wasn't surprised. And I've seen a lot of people just going mad about it. They should have kept it going. They should have kept going. Them folks, they weren't trying to continue that race, and they didn't care that it was a crown jewel. One of the races that they call the crown jewels. They done called the Daytona 500 early. They done called the Southern 500 at Darlington early, and both of them tracks got lights. Them folks,
Yeah.
I think they knew what they were going to do the moment they pulled the cars down pit road. I think they said, okay, we just need to stall, kill some time until we run through our TV time allotment. And then, if it even kind of looks like we ain't gonna, get the track back, Mr. Bell, come on over here and get your trophy, homie. Everybody go home and happy Memorial Day weekend. I honestly think once they got that first caution with lap 240, 245 when they came out, they said, no, this ain't looking good. We're gonna see what the weather gonna do. If that lightning hit and we run through our TV time, Mr. Bell, come on over here and get it, player. We'll see y'all next week.
That's it. Yeah, and then so the what BJ was just saying is that that once the race gets past halfway, they're not going to the next day. It's called that same day, even if even if they can race another day. But if it hadn't gotten to halfway, they might have pushed it to the next day. Then well, they probably would have because it wasn't a finished race. So they probably would have had the race on Tuesday, which is today, or I don't think they were. You think they would race Memorial Day? I guess they probably could have that morning. But either way, if the race is up past halfway, they're not going to push it to another day.
I don't know if they would have ran on Memorial Day. That was a good question too, but that since definitely the race had already passed, we got 150 laps to go. Made sense to call it. I remember that rule always being in place. It's just always interesting. We always change the rules. I always thought that one would be one of the ones that we change.
Yeah.
Not really. It just depends. We started taking too much time, so yeah. What you got, BJ?
I look at it like this. I was gonna say I look at it like this. If that's one of the rules, if they hadn't changed that rule back in the '60s and '70s for Dale Earnhardt and Richard Petty and all them OGs in NASCAR, I don't see why folks expected them to change that today. Now, like, that's one of the rules that they've stuck with for years. You can go back and look in the history books. Anybody who's anybody in NASCAR either got a rain shortened win like that, or they either suffered and lost the race because of rain, shortened wind. Like it's just one of them rules that at least I respect NASCAR for sticking to for a lot of times. Hey, if we get to halfway and we don't care what track this is, what race this is, if we get to halfway and that rain hit and we don't feel like we can drive and restart it, I'm sorry. That's a race. Whoever in the lead, come on over here and get the trophy, player. We'll see y'all next week. That's one of the ironclad rules they have stuck with for years, and they've done it at almost not every track, but most tracks on the circuit and whatever race it is, whether it's a crown jewel, road course, short track. If we pass halfway, there go that rain. Up, come on over here and get your trophy, man. We'll see y'all next week.
Bubba won off of a rain shortened race.
Yeah,
If you want y'all nigga like that.
That was his first race, his first win.
Yeah, that was his first win. It was like 5 laps to go though. Like he got that one.
Yeah, I mean, but you know they clown
150 laps though. Huh?
They don't, yeah, but they clown about it. A rain shortened race isn't really a win. But I mean, luckily he got another race won after that. But yeah, what do y'all think a rain shortened race should be? Have an asterisk. I mean, sometimes you can actually
like a half a card symbols, like a half a card symbol.
You can actually
a half a checkered flag.
You can see them. They watch the weather when they drive. So you can see some of the cars like, hey, we're gonna stay out. We're gonna stay out and hope the rain start coming, then hope the rain is called because
that's a strategy for real.
It's a strategy. I mean, it could go bad, but I mean, a win is a win. You know, it's hard to get a win in that kind of in the.
I'm with you with that one on D. I feel like it counts either the same way because NASCAR they still gonna get the check and all the points and stuff that come with it. I think I see how some people get angry about it because if it's a win where it felt like the right person, the same dude would have won anyway, rather than somebody just accidentally backed up into it. I can see how some people would say it shouldn't count as a win. Like Bell, he was running up front most of the night anyway. It ain't like he was just 35th and then at the last second stayed out. And all of a sudden, Bell won. Now, somebody who kind of got one like that, Buscher's first win back, I think this was 2015 or 2016. He won the Pocono race that was called early due to fog. I don't think he was near the front or up near the front. They just stayed out, and that was that 34 car, Front Row Motorsports, when it was still kind of a fledgling team, and he just happened to be in front. And, well, Buscher, you win. Come on over and get me. You see, it took that team a while to even go back to victory lane again. Like a win like that, I can see how some people would say, nah, that ain't a win. But if you've been somebody that was up front throughout the race and you clearly look strong, I say, hey, you won it. If not, you was probably going to win it anyway. If you one of the ones contending for it anyway.
Yeah. And when I was looking at it, I saw the radar and I was like, this is going to be a shortened race. I said, because that last little turn, I was like, Bubba needs to stay up front because after this, that's it, you know. Well, you know, he had speed on. He was in second place for a while. He had speed, but he didn't have enough to win the race. You could tell that he was staying out up toward the front, driving only. You know what I mean? He was working his car. So
I wish he would have got a better finish.
But the good thing is he got an 11. A top 10 would have been nice.
That was a solid. He had a top 5 car.
Yeah.
I felt like he could have got a top 5.
Well, the good thing about it is he is now up 2 spots to 13th. He was at 15th last week, so he's at least going in the right direction. I still think he's going to need a win to get into that playoffs, man. I just think it's going to be too many different winners this year. It was a lot of different winners last year, man. People luck into a position, and I think it's going to be hard to race in this year.
We still got a good amount of drivers that's in front of him that haven't won a race, so that kind of takes up those numbers, hopefully.
Yeah. I mean, right now.
So his teammate automatically is in, right? His teammate is automatically in.
Well, Denny.
Yeah, Reddick in because he already won.
Yeah.
Man, that 45 car was so nice. I'm sorry, it just gave me flashback to us when he won Talladega. Man, that car was nice.
Well, let's see. Martin Truex is up. He's number 2. He hasn't won a race. Yeah, he's won am I looking at?
Nah, he hasn't won a race, man. That's crazy.
So Denny's won 3 races. He's number 1. Then Martin Truex, he hasn't won a race. He's second. Kyle Larson's got 2. Chase Elliott's got 1. William Byron's got 3. He's doing pretty good this year. Tyler Reddick got his one. Brad Keselowski, which is an interesting one, he got a one. Christopher Bell got 2. So yeah, there's several people above him that don't have any wins. And right now, Bubba is 137 out of first place. So he's not in a bad position. He just needs to keep on collecting these top 10s to stay relevant until it gets really tight with people winning. But right now, he got time. He got time. We got plenty of time to get up there. It's all good.
So this is the halfway point, right?
Huh?
This is the halfway point, right?
I don't know.
Yes, halfway of the regular season. Yeah.
Regular season, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what we at next week?
I think they go to Cup and trucks go to Gateway. The Xfinity cars, they're sending them out to Portland. That's one of them rare standalone deals for them. But the trucks and the Cup are going to Gateway.
What's Gateway? Illinois?
Yeah, St. Louis. St. Louis. It's a 1.25. It's technically classified as an intermediate. You know, it's kind of like Darlington, and that it's bigger than a mile, but it's not quite a mile and a half, and it's kind of odd shaped. It's like a slightly bigger New Hampshire, a flat oval kind of shape, kind of track like that. Yeah.
It's got a little banking, but not a lot.
Yeah.
So you got a smaller turn on one end and a little bit wider on the other end. But it's
Can you get 2 grooves going, two lanes going?
Yeah, you get at least 2. But when it's a flat track, it's hard to pass. Most time you get that speed off the corner, but when it's a flat track, you don't really get no speed coming off the corner because you got to manage the corner so much. But it's in Madison, Illinois, 240 laps, 300 miles, Worldwide Technology Raceway. So, Illinois, 300.
Diggy, who won it last year?
I don't know. I don't have that.
Kyle Busch.
Oh, Kyle Busch?
Kyle Busch. Yeah. Kyle Busch won it last year, and Logano won it the year before when they first went out there.
Oh, no.
I actually, on the last one, I was actually rooting for Little Gibbs.
Yeah, he was doing pretty good most of the race.
Yeah,
I think he ended up hitting the wall, didn't he, BJ?
I think so, if I recall correctly. Yeah.
He was doing good in the beginning of the race. He was doing good. He had a fast car.
Yeah, he didn't mess his car when he hit the wall, but he slowed him down. I think he lost a lot of positions on that one. But yeah, he did good. He did good. I don't mind him winning. I don't mind any of the Gibbs guys winning. So it's just the mother races I don't like. Some other guys I don't like. So what do y'all think about that's just me getting old. I was about to say something and jump out the window. I don't know where it went. I was in the middle of a
That's terrible. That's good and terrible.
Oh man, that's all good.
Oh, tell you that one. But I know there's a lot of chatter about the 2 charges that are coming up.
Oh yeah, with Stuart Haas going down.
Yeah, they announced it. Has everybody heard the announcement that they made today?
No, I didn't. What did they say?
No, they announced that they shutting the whole team down at the end of this year. So it's going to be 4 charges up for grabs.
Oh, 4. Okay.
That whole operation is shutting down. They say I was following like NASCAR folks, media stuff. They said that Tony Stewart showed up at the shop and gave that emotional speech and about the next chapter or whatever. And they say at the end of this year that's going to be a wrap. They say him and Gene Haas released a formal statement. So those going to be 4 charters available. I kind of hate it for, of course you never want to see anybody get put out of work like that. And I hate it for the guy who took over for Harvick in the 4-car Barry, because that's got to suck to just get to the Cup Series your first year and you find out the team you join is shutting down. But he should be able to find a ride anywhere. But yeah, that go 4 charters up for grabs right there for anybody who's gonna get them.
Yeah, the word is 23X is going after one. Trackhouse and Front Row are looking to buy charters. So, and they all got their own drivers they want to pull up from the Xfinity race. So not always that the people that are already up here waiting on a ride just because their team dissolved means that they're going to have a ride.
True.
So even
So
even even races that currently racing out there, sometimes when their team go awry or they get a new driver, they don't even have a ride. So it's not. It's just it's hard to break in, man. It's hard to break in and stay in unless you're winning.
Those gonna be some good drivers on the free agent wire.
But they say Noah Gregson. Everybody look for Noah Gregson to come up.
because isn't Jordan and Hammond they looking for drivers for next year, and they expanding next year?
Yeah, but they got their driver already, don't they? Oh, they already have a
Chase
driver.
Briscoe is a good driver to pick up. I ain't gonna lie.
I don't think they've announced anybody full time, Deacon. I think they're still in the phase of getting like a guest driver to come over for like a road course shot or a special race. But I don't think they've announced anybody formally full time yet that they had in mind. I think that guy Corey Heim from the trucks, he's gonna come up and do a race, but I don't think they've announced anybody just long term that they're going with yet.
I mean, that makes sense. If you ain't got no charter, ain't no use to announcing a full time driver. I mean,
But
you don't have a spot for him.
I was gonna say
I
it makes me
still
think if
Hold on, go
I
ahead,
was, I
BJ.
just I was gonna say it makes me think though with Harvick he left at the end of 20 when did Harvick leave at the end of 23 I think and Almirola he got out of that too. It makes me wonder with that team shutting down what they saw and if they saw some stuff around that are writing on the wall that make them kind of head for the ship. Now Harvick I get he was already pretty accomplished and he probably wouldn't finna race no more years in the way. But Almirola I felt like if he wanted to could go for a few more years. And I just wonder with those guys when they headed out that camp, if they saw something, they say you never know what's going on behind closed doors. If they saw something that maybe say, you know what, this operation, I need to head ship. I need to head for new opportunities because if we like this, we ain't gonna be operating too much longer. I just had that thought today about that, but yeah, them charters are up for grabs for anybody who wants it.
Yeah. And I think
do
the
you think
most
it's because the
wait,
but I was just saying, do you think it's because the owners weren't really involved? I know I saw that there was they got one Haas, he's in the F1 team and like his other stuff. And then you got
Probably,
Tony running
probably,
that NHRA
probably,
schedule. Yeah, I didn't know Tony was still
probably.
racing.
Yeah,
and the most charters you can have is 5, or is it 4 now?
I think it's 4.
Yeah, I think it was 5 before though, right?
Yeah, because back in the day, Roush used to have a 5 car operation. Then after 2005 or 2006, they cut it down and said teams can only be 4 cars now. Yeah,
Yeah. I guess it was trying to get more people involved, but now people are leaving. They said Tony Stewart wanted something. He wanted something with Kyle Larson and Ford, but NASCAR denied him or something like that. Now he's quitting the whole thing. They don't want nothing to do with NASCAR. But he was a volatile one too, just like just like Bush. He talking about somebody put you in the wall. Or Tony Stewart.
Tony still was
yeah,
a real.
for sure. He one of the ones that they called him smoke, and you follow his career, you see why they call him that because he was one of the ones that always wanted to smoke. He done got some stuff. You can do a whole highlight about his career about who he done beefed with and who he done had run-ins with or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
To win a championship though with your own team is pretty fire. So like shout out to that whole organization. They going out the end of the year. They have some good moments.
For sure, for sure. That is rarefied air to be you to be win a championship while driving for your own team. That's
Mhm.
especially in the modern world today. That's rare. That's rare. Anybody accomplished that past the year 2000 because that's extremely
And
tough.
and BJ, it was 2 years into the business if I'm not mistaken. That's the crazy thing about it. If I'm not, I think it was like what
Fact.
09.
He won. He won. Let's see, Stewart. He won a cup championship. He won championships in '02 and '05. He was still with Gibbs. The one he won with his own team was in '11, because that was
Or
just right
11. That's what
after
it was.
Jimmy Johnson. That was just right after Jimmy Johnson finished his streak of winning like 4 or 5 in a row. He was the driver that put a stop to that. With Jimmy Johnson winning like 4 or 5 championships in a row, it was Tony Stewart that did it in '11, if I'm not mistaken. And I think who won after that total? I believe Keselowski won in 12, but I know Stewart's was in 11,
Gotcha.
2011.
Let me ask you this. Let's answer John's question first. He says they're trying to move it down to 3 teams per a max of 3 charters. You think they're trying to limit the amount of cars that are on the track, or they're just trying to limit the amount of cars that one team can monopolize?
I've heard I've heard that they're trying to reduce it to just three charters per team. My thing is if they do that, what happens to the organizations that are still at 4 cars? It would mean they have to cut a car because Hendrick still at 4 cars, Gibbs still at 4 cars. I wonder now if you try to disperse that like that. I guess those drivers and cars would have to go to some other shop. Like they would have to be sent off. And do you get those since those are Chevy and Toyota teams? Do you send those to other Chevrolet teams, or do you send those to, hey, you got to switch manufacturer, and since you Ford, we got to send you over to Roush, and you're gonna be driving a Ford, and it becomes a Ford now. So that's complicated. That's one thing I hope that they don't do. I hope the folks who want to be have four still get to keep four, and whoever would want to, if you just want to downsize, yeah. But I hope they still allow whoever has four if they want to keep four to have four. But I've heard
Yeah,
those rumors too. Yeah,
yeah. But the one thing they can do is do like Joe Gibbs and uh, Denny Hamlin did, which is Denny started his own team, and they could just move the chart over to one of their sister or
true,
brother organizations and keep the charters
true.
and add
Yeah,
another couple cars.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Just
So
introduce a whole new team
yeah, yeah.
under the same umbrella. Yep, that's true.
So we were talking about what was it Jimmy Johnson earlier. Yeah. Now, if you look at Jimmy Johnson, what he won like 6 championships, right?
Seven.
This
Yeah,
dude,
you
yeah,
beat him.
this dude at one point was the king of racing. That he had that decade where he was unbeatable. So if you look at him now in that car he's driving now, I mean he has no chance. So does that mean? Because I know a lot of drivers like I used to watch Bobby Labonte and Terry Labonte. Once they hit 40, it was over. It's like they couldn't drive fast no more. They could drive fast, obviously, but not. It was a decline in their positioning at the end of the race. And I
Shout
think
out
that
to
once
Mark.
once a driver hits, so even Tony Stewart, once he hit 40, wasn't as good as he was when he was younger.
I
And
thought it was like
Bush was going the
a
same way.
reflex thing. Hey, Deacon,
Huh?
I thought it
Well,
was a reflex thing.
I don't know whether it's reflex or you just don't feel as comfortable going as fast. Or like Jimmy Johnson, he retired and came back, and the team he's with. Is he a part owner of that team, or is he just driving?
He is in the ownership group of that team, D. He
Okay,
is.
well that makes sense. But you
I
would
thought he
think
was.
that with his background knowledge and his amount of championships that he has, you would think that he could put together a better car. So it kind of goes through what I was talking about. It's all about the crew chief, man. You get the right crew chief that can tune these cars up. It's the same. I don't understand. I don't understand why he's so slow. Why he's mired in the
I
back.
I think it's like you said, Nick, about it. I think it's that's a new team. He's gonna have the same people he's working with, and like you said too, he is older now, and that's just a different car. It's like if someone I guess was in the NBA, one NBA, and they left for several years and came back on a whole different team, whole different organization, and and a whole lot of rules and stuff had changed just when they were dominant. But it it is what it is. But to your point about old, I think it's just too. If you put the right person with the right team, organization, crew chief, whatever, you can be successful. Look at Mark Martin. Mark Martin, his that last little run he had with Hendrick. Mark Martin was 50 years old and won 5 races, and still to this day holds the record for being the oldest driver to win an Xfinity. He won an Xfinity when he was 52, I think, 53. So
Yeah,
if you put, I think, the right driver with the right combination of team, and two, the one thing too about Mark Martin worked out like he had a workout routine regimen like a professional, serious athlete or
mhm.
whatever. If you put the right driver with the right combination, the
Yeah.
right team, right people, I think you can still win at a certain age. I think when Johnson's situation is that team is new. Well, that team ain't new, but that's a new organization. He's working from the scope of being an owner, and he's older, and he's been away from sport for a few years, and that's a new car, and just a lot of factors. And plus, they don't get as much practice as they used to get on the weekend when he was running. So I think it's
Definitely.
just those few factors like that.
Yeah. It just always amazed me when they hit a certain age, it was like a decline. It just seemed like a decline. I don't know if they were just, you know, like the car a different way. You progress in life, you mature, and you like a little more, front end than you do your rear being sliding out.
Deacon, what you talking about, Deacon?
I'm talking about getting old and driving a race car.
Sound like you was talking about something else, though.
Pause, Big Apple.
No, I get what he was saying, and two, some of those guys, I think when they get older to a point too, I think at a certain age, your hunger is to get out there on the track. I got to prove myself, and I got to go far, and I got to go, go, go. And then I
Mhm.
think those guys get to a certain age, especially guys who are fairly accomplished, and they get out there, and I think they get to a point where it's like, hey, I'm just trying to make sure I run laps, grab a check, and
Right, yeah.
finish
I
the
got
race,
kids to
support my
feed.
family.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got kids to feed. I ain't trying to be out here hurt myself, go super hard like I was when I was 22. Now I'm
Mhm.
42. I can relax, just make laps, and hey, if I finish 15th, as long as I get paid or whatever, and my family support, I ain't got nothing else to prove. I'm still on a contract as long as I want to be. So I mean, that for me, it is that. I think some of those guys fall into that mindset occasionally. I ain't say that
Yeah.
happens all the time, but I think that happens to some of those guys. Well, has happened.
Well, he said that John Hill said they're gonna be grandfathered in for those 4 cars. So I guess
Okay,
if they want to
that
keep 4, they keep 4.
that makes sense then.
Yeah, that
That
makes
that age
sense.
what you call that makes sense. Yeah,
Especially if they're not having sponsorship problems.
for
If
sure,
they were having
for sure.
sponsorship problems, then it would probably be in their interest to drop down to 3. Uh, uh yeah, that'd be their interest. So yeah. What do y'all think about the next race? Now I know the next one is kind of a paperclip type of race, but what kind of speeds are they gonna have this week? Talking about 150, 180?
Well,
That's a good one. I'm
let's
not
look
sure.
up. Let's
I
look up
did
some
Bubba
of the
do on the
history
last
on
race
that.
too.
Because after that we're going to Sonoma, which is a road course. And I'm trying.
Bubba
I'm
pretty
trying to look.
solid
I'm
on
trying to
those.
look at the chances that Bubba have of winning. And he ain't winning no road course.
No, you'll run solid though.
Yeah,
It's
he'd be
like a
solid, especially at Sonoma. Sonoma's a little.
top.
It's a bigger road course. Yeah, I never
Yeah.
did like that. What was that? That road Circuit America. That's a horrible track. Horrible.
Last last year, Bubba. Let's see. One year, I can't remember call if it was last year before last. He got an incident. He spun out, but he was spun out by somebody. I think he was just trying to call back to a finish he could. Okay, last year Kyle Busch, he won the race. He was on the pole, uh, with a average speed of 137.187, 32.808. That was the pole time of last year, and Kyle Busch went on to win the race. And if I'm not mistaken, I got to look it up too. I believe I believe Logano won from the pole in 2022 also. I think it's one of those tracks where it's going to be one of those races where your qualifying run is going to heavily affect how you able to finish in the race. That's every race, but it's going to be one of those races like you mentioned earlier, Deep, where I think it's going to be just hard to pass. And if you don't get a good qualifying run, you're going
Hmm.
to have, a tough hill to row trying to get up there.
Yeah, it's one of them tracks that you got to be stuck to the bottom. Got to be stuck to the bottom of them.
You
And
think
then
Bubba going to use his tactic where he stay in the 5th and 6th place and wait for an accident in front of him?
Then give me
I
go ahead, go ahead.
it's tough to call just because they haven't had a lot of history at that track. Again, this will just be their third time racing there, so it's tough. I mean, based off of what he finished in 2022. Let's see, 2022 he finished. 2022 they had him listed as finishing 26th, I think, in this 2022 race. Trying to see, I think that was the race he might have gotten spun out in. One race of the two I remember he got spun out in. It was a thing because it was one race between Denny Hamlin and Ross. It was Ross Chastain. Somebody was going back and forth, beefing throughout the race, and he got caught up. I think it's somebody else's deal because the two were beefing throughout the race. I believe that was 2022.
All right, man, we're gonna get out of here. We done drag this thing on long enough. Unless anybody else got any questions,
I want to know where the video at, man. Can we get some video one time?
we can video next week.
Next week we can't get no video this week, huh?
Hey, it was a rain shortened race, man.
All right, let's go.
We're gonna rain shorten this podcast.
I missed the video.
All right, man. We appreciate John Hill dropping in and giving us.
Thanks, brother. Thank you, BJ.
Hey, we do this every Tuesday. If you got some information that you want to pass along, man, jump on. We love to hear y'all. You know, we just trying to build something up for the black folk in NASCAR. Black NASCAR. That's what you black NASCAR.
That's right. Enjoy your family. Happy Memorial Day for some of y'all. Celebrate them soldiers.
Technically, that was yesterday.
What is he talking about?
Memorial Day? Soldiers?
That was yesterday, big guy.
Yeah, I'm just saying we didn't meet yesterday, so I want to celebrate. My father was a solder.
Okay.
Vietnam. Hey.
Absolutely. My bad.
You know,
Y'all
like the soldiers? Y'all don't like the military?
Anybody say that?
I try to get a kick. Try to get a kick though.
Y'all don't like the military? What's going on?
No, ain't nobody say that.
I heard what? Why do we speaking on the Memorial Day?
All right, we out.